Hi everyone. I think many of you have seen action cameras already, but there are probably very few such actions. This is none other than the Ddpai Ranger motorcycle bicycle action camera and dashboard. This is what I'll be showing you today. The Ddpai Ranger is a rather interesting camera because it is absolutely unconventional, both in terms of design and capabilities. I'm not going to spend a lot of time unboxing in this video because there's too much range. No, we get the basic accessory package, which includes a charging cable, which includes bayonets from slippers that can be attached, and a self-adhesive interrupted like regarding a GoPro and other cameras from the console, which can be attached to a helmet, for example. There are also several other accessories, what you can buy with it. This is an optional accessory. For example, it has a constant power supply. There is also a motorized mount, which, as expected, differs from the normal mount in that it is much stronger and will not fail at higher speeds, and the camera will fly off. Grow up! Before we dive into what exactly this can be used for and how it feels to use, I'll continue with the specifications, because it's very interesting, and this camera has many features you wouldn't expect in an ordinary sports camera. Let's start with the fact that it has a lot of sensors, including GPS, which is not perfect. You might expect the usual from a sports camera, but this one also has a bug pressure sensor and a thermometer. There is a compass and a barometer. This multitude of sensors serves to ensure that if we use this camera, it will be able to log all kinds of things while cycling or motorcycling. But what can it log? Of course, it can log the distance traveled, the route, and with the phone application provided, you can save the route taken during the given period. We can log our speed, our average speed. We can also log the temperature, we can log the altitude, so we can see the elevation gain we achieve while cycling downhill or uphill. We can see the slope angle of the hill or ascent we are biking or motorcycling on. So we can see a lot of things. Yeah, even the main impression, of course. What's very interesting about this is that we can save this data into a separate file. More precisely, the camera saves it and stores it in the camera's memory. These files are stored and can be downloaded to a computer. That way, you can look back exactly where you were and what you did and what hill you climbed. So a lot of data. That's why they say that the Ddpai Ranger is not just an ordinary action camera, but a motorcycle, bicycle dashboard is also recognizable. For example, I bought it for this reason because it will be very useful for my bike and scooter tests, as I will be able to get a lot of data that I can compare with the data described in the factory specifications. For example, how steep a slope a specific scooter can climb. Obviously, these are very important things, and you will be able to see this data on this touch-sensitive display. See and check later. This is a touchscreen with 700 nits of brightness, so it's relatively visible even in sunlight. It is easy to use, and all kinds of data are accessible on it. These are what I mentioned, so from the incline to the temperature. One thing I didn't mention, it can also measure acceleration, which is again very important. For example, if someone is riding a motorcycle, then it's not bad to know how many Gs we accelerated with. The menu and settings are also on this second pop. We can access it through the touchscreen. There aren't too many settings options. So beyond that, all this data day by day, you can't really personalize the camera itself. Maybe this is the biggest difference between a serious action camera and the Ddpai. Between Rangers, because with this camera, for example, we can't adjust the ISO, we can't adjust the white balance, nothing like that. Everything is set to automatic. What we can adjust on it is the resolution, and there are different modes for it. The maximum resolution available with this camera is 4K and 30 FPS. However, it has 4K 25 frames per second night mode, for example, and the lowest resolution is 1080p. They say that 1080p is an energy-saving solution as we mix it there, consumes electricity. What is very important is that this camera has an 1800 milliampere hour capacity, has a built-in battery. This means it cannot be removed, replaced, or charged externally, nor can it be charged outside the camera. This 1300 mAh battery allows for 110 minutes of runtime, and if used in full HD, then we can use it for up to 150 minutes, which 2.5 hours is quite impressive. As I said, there is a constant power supply paper included. If we use this, we can connect it to the motor's constant electrical system, or if you use an electric bike, then you can connect it to the electric bike's USB output, if it has one. Yes, if you do it like this, then it really doesn't matter what kind of battery is in it, because it gets a constant power supply and will never run out. I think these are really good things, and many of us feel that we might need this data while motorcycling, cycling, or if we want to see what the performance is like. Even if we push ourselves to the limit, say while cycling, it comes in really handy. But I have to say, it's still just a camera. And thus it is very important to examine what the quality of the camera and what modes it has. In terms of modes, there are basically two types, the motor mode and the bicycle mode, which you can select in the camera settings approximately. I already talked about the resolutions. Among the modes, there is an automatic mode and a manual mode. The automatic mode works in a way that you don't have to do anything else, just set up this connection. A camera on the bike when you set off. Here, the built-in gyroscope detects motion and starts recording. It measures and logs the data while recording, and it also starts a video recording that is 720p, and it will be a time-lapse video, so a fast-forwarded recording where you can watch back where you've been. The manual mode provides slightly better quality because you can use the preset recordings in manual mode, meter capabilities, so let's say 4K at 30 frames per second. For manual mode, you need to press and hold the button on this page, then the recording will start. If you press the button for a short time, it will be a 6-second one. The camera takes a quick shot. There is also a button on the other side. With this button, you can start it. So, the logging, meaning the use of the device itself. So, when you use it manually, you press this button and it starts. If you press this button, the camera will start. Similarly, you can stop it using the same button, and you can also stop logging with it. This is manual logging. The camera actually got some help to produce good movies. It can take pictures. It has a night mode. It has really good stabilization and a solution that straightens the image. For example, if the camera is mounted slightly crooked, the recording in theory, it will be straight, it will always be horizontal. These are very good things. You don't have to adjust the camera too much, you don't have to fiddle with it too much, and the recordings will be good anyway. With the quick, so in the quick start, you get a 720p time-lapse. I'll show you here. One So this is what it looks like when you start the camera manually, but you get 4K, recording at 30 FPS. To see what this recording looks like, I did a test. In this test, you will see this taken the camera's image in night mode and in daytime mode, and as a reference, the image of my own DJI Osmo Action camera will be included. It is relatively good quality. Normal actions camera. Watch. Riding through the sunrise, wind against my face, subtitles from the Amarador community, Amarador community, Amarador community, every change and change, this is what we prepared for again. Captions at the Amarador community, subtitles by the Amarador community. It is clear that there is not too much difference between the two cameras in night mode. The truth is that these action cameras in daytime mode, the usual can be used for good quality recording. You can adjust the ISO on the DJI. This recording was made with ISO 3200. as you saw. You can also adjust the white balance, and I couldn't come up with anything better. Compared to this, the picture of the Ddpai Ranger is not bad, maybe even a bit better in night mode than the DJI Osmo S5. I have a small issue with the daytime shot. For me, it's just a bit oversaturated, too much. The footage captured by the Ddpai Ranger is too colorful and vivid. This is of course a matter of taste, and for my taste, the DJI. The Osmo camera image is closer. I think it's closer to reality, like the image for the Ranger. Along with that, there's no problem with the sharpness, the detail and the line sharpness. The details aren't lost. So basically there is no big problem with this camera. For me, it's a bit too salty. I think I told everything. You have seen the test shots as well. Who can I recommend it to? Well, obviously for motorcyclists, and for cyclists, I can recommend this camera. Because for them, I don't think there's a problem with the quality. The price might be a bit of a shock. But actually, recently, these higher quality cameras have been the best quality cameras, because it doesn't belong. Those two cheap things in between. The price of the Ddpai Ranger is currently discounted. Together, it's 63,000 forints, plus if you want to buy it, it's roughly 26,000 forints more. Constant power supply ensuring paper. A hoodie, it's about 16,000 forints. The motorbike holder, but I think we got the motorbike holder, you can get it cheaper from other manufacturers. Well, that's about it. I think I've said everything about this camera that could be said. If you liked it, then you can find the link and the coupon code below the video on YouTube. You can find the purchase mode and the link to the written article there, where you'll find a little more data and information than what was covered in this video. Read it if you're interested. I hope you enjoyed this video too. If you did, please come back next week, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment, because that's what the YouTube algorithm likes. Next week I'll come back with another test. Until then, take care and goodbye.